Do you fish?
No.
You know, people who don't fish think that fishing is lazy or boring, but it is the complete opposite. There are 100 little decisions to be made, variables to be considered, and you're never quite sure what made the difference. Did I cast too high, too far to the left? Did I reel it in too slow or too fast? Is the lure too shiny or too dull? Do I stay here or should I go over there? And you know it's not luck, but you do not know by how much. Because I am never disappointed out here, because I don't expect anything, because anything is possible. I can be hopeful out here, even in failure. Because I know if I just go out there around that tree, it might be different. Something might be different. Something I do might make a difference.
A sniper's dream, 100 nights of memory. He has me forehead, and after head goes grace vertical. No matter who he races, he gonna have a head start. From Tolo, remembers what happened to Mom. His father stands on the second floor. Why can you still see his forehead with the comments open? Shut his eyes. He got a lot on his mind. He's been told to hold that thought all his life. No sweat tries before it reaches his eyes. He needs brains. Those imaginations in 4K Ultra HD. If you do an inch on his forehead, Bobby will survive. His forehead says 6'5", but his eyes say 5'9". The most epic heroic song of all time. Bro's forehead has a national anthem.
Bro knew this would happen.
Hell yeah! Angler's choice, baby! John Moore's, White River, Ranger, Triton, Nitro. Let's go, baby! Woo!
What the hell is even that?
You're listening to Fishing the DMV with your host, Thomas Ahrens. Fishing the DMV is brought to you by Jake's Bait and Tackle, located in Winchester, Virginia.
If that doesn't get you jacked up, I don't know what will.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to this Monday Night Live. We're here the last Monday in April. Good God, time is flying. The weather is starting to catch up here. We have a great show for you today. A little reminder, our tournament brought to you by the Bass Cast, the Spring Bass Bash. First full weekend, have 180 fish catches recorded right now. Close to 40 anglers already signed up. A lot of great prizes. This is the most money I've banked. I got a really nice tax return. I'm just giving it back to the people. So I think it's over $2,000 in prizes I'm giving away this go around. Tournament goes all the way till Father's Day. I'm giving away $100 for a freaking rock bass and a bluegill too, because I'm a sadistic person and I think it's funny watching people catch them. So go get in on that. It'll be fun. I have the man, the myth, the legend, the guy that runs the chocolate factory. Jake, how are you doing tonight, sir? Love the hat.
What's going on, buddy? Yeah, so I was out there rigging up some tackle from today's guide trip, and I guess I just got a little carried away.
I can tell by that, dude. You're killing it with the guide service. You are 2 months in now at this point?
1 month in. We started April 1st.
Ooh, fancy stuff, dude.
Yeah.
Man, like, what do you think so far reflecting on guiding? Is it everything you thought it would be?
Oh, gosh. There's been some fantastic trips. There's been some very difficult trying trips. But, you know, watching somebody have the joy and the success of catching, you know, one of these fish, man, it's pretty hard to, like, recreate that. I mean, I shouldn't say recreate it. There's nothing else really like it. Like, it's almost like catching it yourself. Mm-hmm. You know, when you can teach somebody to do it and give them, you know, give them some little nuggets to use. Like, it's, you know, it's a rewarding experience, man. You know, any of the bad trips that I've had so far, you know, they're significantly made up for with the good trips. Like today was a banger, dude. Like, our best 5 fish was over 100 inches today. And that was, I was helping a little bit there. Like, you know, towards the end of the day, like, he was catching, you know, he's like, "Are you going to fish?" And I was like, "Well, man," I'm like, really wasn't going to. And he's like, no, come on, fish. And I'm like, all right. So then I stuck a 21 and a quarter. And then I stuck a 20 and a half. And then he caught a 20 3/4 shortly after that. He caught a whole mess of 18s and 19s. Like it was a really good day. It was a solid day.
I mean, the weather seems like it's finally starting to cooperate, at least
Dude,
up in your neck of the woods.
want rain, bro. Like I don't want nice sunny days. I got sunburnt like a mofo today, dude. The back of my legs are looking like John Redcorn from King of the Hill, dude. Like
It'll help your pasty ass, to get a little sun. I mean, my God.
But yeah, no, I mean it was, I like the sun, or I like the rain, I should say. I like whenever you get a little cloud cover and some rain and makes the water dirty and maybe come up a little. I'd like to see I'd like to see the water come up another foot. Like I think we're like 5 foot, 4.5 maybe. I think this river fishes best when it's over 5.5.
What did this winter do to the spring when you had the river freaking ice over? Has it pushed everything back a little bit?
I mean, you could see that there's some stuff moved. There's some trees and some logs that were mid-river just kind of stuck that aren't there anymore. But there's also new shit. There's new shit too. But it changes every year. Like it takes a special flood to get rid of some of these pieces of wood that are pushed up against stuff. But like, there's new stuff, there's old stuff, there's, I wouldn't say that there's anything drastically changed. Not that I've seen yet, at least. But the pools that I fish are they got some new wood. They got some old wood. I don't know.
It's interesting when you look at the Susquehanna compared to other rivers. Shenandoah, Upper Potomac, you guys are going to be there in a month.
Yeah.
You talk about fishing the creeks is interesting. And I've had people on the show talk about this before, where it's a unique Susquehanna pattern because you have so many feeder creeks up where you're at. You can have a pattern of that. The Upper Potomac's got like 3. That's about it. You guys have what, 100,000?
So we got a lot of feeder creeks, but they're not all created equal. Some of them are really good, and others are good, and others just downright suck. They all have their purposes. Some of the feeder creeks are literally only good for high water. That's it. They're just high water refuge. They're not spawning creeks. They're just places where the fish can go when the water gets too high. So some of the feeder creeks are like that, but one thing that we have, and this doesn't happen. It's not, the spawn doesn't just happen in the feeder creeks up here. A lot of it does. A lot of the adult, very experienced fish will go up into the creeks and they do their habitual thing. I honestly think that the same fish that go up in the creeks are the same ones that go up every single year. I think that's just what they do. I think that's what they learn to do. And then I think the fish that spawn down in the river probably stay down in the river. And they're like, you know what? We got plenty of places to spawn down here because there's giant islands everywhere we can get behind. So, it's a unique river, but it's because of how big it is. It's a unique situation because of how big it is, because there is not enough spawning ground in the main river for all of the fish to spawn at once. I think it would be impossible to do. But I also don't think they're all going to spawn all at once. I think there's 2 or 3 waves of spawning fish that there's certainly 2. There's probably going to be 3 waves. Depends on the year.
I agree with that. And again, unless if you're listening to this show when it gets re-uploaded or right now, it is such an immense body of water. You can't appreciate it unless you're there because, again, Shenandoah River, Upper Potomac, it doesn't have the same size ecosystem where you can have we pre-recorded an episode with Jake House actually last week. And that was something that's interesting is you can't fish the whole thing. Like even tournaments that go there, very few say fish the whole river. It's sections. That's how massive it is. Almost like the Mississippi River. And that's fascinating because one of the questions we have here we'll get to. He talks about the New York, Pennsylvania area. We got Joe S. that says, Jake, I always appreciate your perspective on the Susky. The bass were on beds starting Wednesday in the section that I fish, which is the New York, PA border. Guys, think about that to show you how big the Susky is. Do you see them in your section? You can have fish act differently on different sections. It's so long and so big. It's crazy.
So there was fish where I was at today with my guide trip. There were fish in all three phases. There were some fish that were bedding, and we left them alone. There were some fish that were pre-spawn in some pre-spawn staging locations, and we busted the shit out of them. And there were some fish that were post-spawn, doing post-spawn stuff, doing summertime stuff. And we busted the shit out of them too. The only ones we didn't really mess with were the ones that were doing their dirty. You want to be interrupted during that?
Josh says, Upper Potomac is fishing really good right now. The Susky is very girthy. Yes, it is, dude. It is extremely girthy.
Did he say Susky or me?
He said both, actually. Both.
Okay.
That's going to be their newest sponsor at the Potomac River, guys, Trojan. And actually, we'll do that now too. Potomac River, this Saturday and Sunday, yours truly right here. It's going to be probably one of the biggest turnouts you guys are having. It's 2 single-day events, correct?
Correct. Yeah. So this weekend coming up, MAKBF is going to be on the tidal Potomac, and we have a huge sponsor with Charles County Department of Recreation and Charles County Rec. I always forget their name. They changed it last year. They made it a mouthful, but they are a fantastic, visitors bureau to work with. We're incredibly happy to partner with them again this year. And we're really hoping that people take advantage of stuff on the Maryland side, specifically in Charles County, because that's probably where most of the best fishing is. But if they choose not to fish on the Maryland side, we are still putting the awards close to 301 bridge. That way, if somebody wants to come on down I don't know what I think it's called. I don't know what the bridge is called down there, but it's the bridge. You go over it, you come to our award ceremony on Sunday, enjoy some fine eats at the eatery there, and give away some money. But yeah, it's going to be a big event, man. And the tidal Potomac is always one of those fisheries that always just puts out for us. We always have good numbers there. And we're partnering with two different, I guess there's at least 4 clubs fishing over the weekend. Ourselves, MAKBF, and Chesapeake Reel Masters are fishing 2 single one-day events back-to-back, one Saturday, one Sunday. And then NVKBA is also participating with us on Saturday. And then on Sunday, there's another club, River Runners, I think is the name of it. They're out of like Delaware, Eastern Shore, Maryland type of area. They're going to be down there with us on Sunday as well. So there's going to be a lot of opportunity for a lot of money and a lot of like triple and quadruple dipping. So people don't want to miss out on this. This is going to be a big deal. It's going to be a lot of money given away.
That's the thing about kayak tournaments, that you just can't duplicate that with a boat thing where you can double dip, triple dip. I mean, Irwin Miner, when he won the Susky last year, what did he quadruple dip? Like, that's an insane ability that you have in kayaking that will completely blow bass fishing from the boat side out of the water.
Yeah. I mean, it's a cool situation, especially when competing clubs can work together. And it's not about working together for our own benefit. It's about working together for the anglers, because kayak anglers are not boat anglers, right? Kayak anglers historically don't like to spend a lot of money. They would compared to what boaters spend, if you tell us that a fishing tournament's going to cost, $1,500 to fish a weekend, people are going to be like, oh, pump the brakes on that. I got this thing called a mortgage. So having that ability to have one weekend with 4 different clubs having their events on one weekend really makes it a nice thing for the angler, where they don't have to pay for travel 2 weekends in a row to go 2 different locations, or better yet, like, they don't have to make a decision on which event to go to. Mm-hmm. If an angler participates in all 4 clubs, they literally can go this weekend and fish all 4 clubs and not have to make a choice. So it's not even about the competition between our clubs as much as it's about making sure the anglers have the best choices and options available to them.
And it's nice though because of how it's formatted. You can enter all the clubs at once. Like, why wouldn't you? I mean, it would.
Well, some
you're
people
leaving money
forget.
on the table.
But there's also, dude, they're that's a couple $100 too. Like, I'm not sure what MVKBA is, but I know for MAKBF, it's going to be $50 each day, and then I think NVKBA is similar. I think River Runners is similar. So you're looking at potentially like $200, maybe more, 200,
which is less.
300.
Devil's advocate, it's less than a BFL entry fee.
I mean, yeah, we don't like glitter boats.
I was going to say, I thought you were going to say boats in general. It's like, oh, well.
Can't say that no more.
You can't.
Stupid boaters. Stupid boats driving around really fast and making all that wake. We
got a P.S. Smith on Instagram that asks, what is the water temperature you're seeing right now in the Susquehanna?
60s. It's this morning was like 58 and it got up to 61. It's been hovering around that. It's gonna get stupid ass warm tomorrow. So you might see a crazy jump over the next day or two. But I think tomorrow is supposed to be in like 90s, which is just stupid. I would like for it to be like 60 and raining.
You are a power fisherman at heart, sir.
Really yes, sir. Yes. You want to know what worked today? Can I give away some juice like this early? How early are we? Like how many minutes have we been live?
Well, let's if you want to do that, we'll hit this one here. Josh says CRM and MAKBF both events each day was $200 each day.
No. $200 to fish both series is both days is what he's saying. So what he's saying is CRM is $50 each day. We're $50 each day. It's $200 right there off the bat. I would say to enter all 4 clubs all weekend, it's going to be like $300.
Probably. That makes sense. Yeah. But, win and reward there. But anyway, give away the juice. Go for it.
So juice. And I'm okay with saying this because I literally just placed a replacement order of them. And I ordered a bunch. So I don't know if there's any left in stock. But the core tackle scamper rig. Okay, it's just a straight shank hook. It's got a little weight deal there on it. I'm using this was not necessarily the bait that would have been used today, but a fluke is a fluke. It's a fluke. Fluke's fluke. That's all they are. They're just flukes. There's nothing special about a fluke. It's a fucking. Oh, can I say that?
Yeah, you can. It's
okay. It's a fucking fluke. It doesn't matter who makes it. They're all flukes. They all do the same shit. They all got some salt in them, right? They're all basically whatever stupid ass color like you pick. But so the scamper rig is the deal because one thing that a lot of fluke fishermen get is a lot of line twist, and the fluke doesn't do naturally what you want it to do if you put a belly weight on it and all that other stuff. And I don't like to fish. I don't like to fish a fluke on an EWG hook because I feel like the body gets too kinked up and you end up getting bad hook sets. The best way to fish a fluke is, and historically has always been, nose hooking it on like a little circle hook type of deal until the scamper rig came out. When I tell you that this thing comes through the water like perfectly, it does exactly what a fluke should do. And on top of that, like when they eat it, dude, you hook the shit out of them. And they were train wrecking a fluke today, like freight training it, just coming from a long ways away to hit the fluke. And every single fish that ate there was like a 0% loss ratio today.
What is it? The head specifically? Is it just a weighted flipping hook? It looks like it's ribbed.
I mean, honestly, it kind of looks like what's that company? War Eagle that makes the spinner bait. You ever seen the War Eagle? I don't know what the shank style, what the hook style is, but you see how it's kind of got like a little bit of a what's that? What is that? I don't know what it's. I don't remember what that's called, but it's got like that that little bit of a bend to it, this weird kind of like angled bend. But dude,
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
I mean, this thing just like it comes through like it'll if you just want to reel it straight, it'll just perfectly balanced, maybe a little tail flicker. If you want to, work it side to side, it'll do that. If you want to kill it, it'll do. When you kill it, it literally like slow glide falls right down to the bottom. It's deadly as shit. This fucking hook is the tits.
And that's something that's interesting because that seems very much like a chucking type of wind deal, which you see for blueback when people use a fluke versus
I like
an
pigbacks.
Yeah, versus an EWG where you're jerking it.
Never mind. You missed it. Never mind.
I did.
It's okay.
Where was my brain at? Yeah, I absolutely hate doing a fluke on an EWG hook or even jerking it for that matter.
I don't mind jerking it.
It depends on if anyone's around to see me. If they're not, when I'm doing it, I just feel like I miss a lot of fish because when you pull slack on that's when you're going to get bit.
Yeah. I look, I mean, I think EWG, like there's a time where you have to throw the fluke on the EWG, like when there's grass, right? Like you have to, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the only way to do it. But if you're open water fishing and you don't got a lot of, grass, dude, I'm convinced with this hook. Like I've done it now a couple of different days. I've started using it this year, but like, dude, it freaking keeps them pinned. And I mean, me personally, I like to throw it on a casting rod because I think spinning rods are for sissies. So I like to throw it on a casting rod. I say that with a grain of salt. Like I do have 2 spinning rod and reels out of the 30 rod and reel combos that I have. So I do have 2. But I will throw that on a medium, 7-foot medium casting rod with a 8-speed reel. And it's one of the very, very few rod and reel combos that I have that's straight fluorocarbon. It's straight fluorocarbon. I don't have a braid to leader connection. And some of that, like, I guess it's maybe another golden nugget. Like if you throw this thing on braid to a fluorocarbon leader, you're going to get rise out of it when you don't necessarily want rise out of it because the braid's going to float. Like you're pulling it from a different direction than where I want to pull it from. I think the fluorocarbon is important to the action. But you also don't listen. I don't know if I said this or not. You don't get no line twist. Did I say that? Like no line twist at all. It doesn't do the stupid roll and turn and like get a bunch of curly cues in your fluorocarbon. You don't get that with that rig. It just doesn't happen.
We got Josh Whittington that says, that's honestly why I switched to just simply throwing a jerkbait over throwing a weightless fluke. Interesting. And then we got Lance that says,
yes.
Does it skip good under docks?
Yes, it does. Don't put the questions up there if you don't want me to answer them.
No, you're good, boss. I'm just trying to. I have like 50 screens, and you're editing so many questions. It's insane. This is like an OnlyFans chat right now. It's crazy how busy it is. We got somebody else on Instagram, Denton, that asks, "Why a fluke over a swim bait if you're just chucking and winding?"
What kind of swim bait are you talking about?
That's literally all he said. So I'm assuming the question is.
So here's the thing: swim baits come in like 5 a pack, or they come in like the variety of like $10 or $15 a piece. Okay. A pack of flukes is like $5 and you get like 12 of them. And I feel like you're imitating the same thing. And if I'm going to go through a bunch of them, I'm just going to go for the cheaper option. Cause I'm bougie, but I'm cheap too. Mm-hmm.
It's interesting because it's just one of those baits that I feel like gets overlooked. I forget who. I've interviewed so many freaking people the last 2 weeks. It's a blur, but you can't throw everything. And you look at like the spinner bait is having more of a renaissance nationally. I know locally, like it always has its niche, but when you had the jerkbait craze chatterbait craze still going on, the swim jig, the swim bait, the spinnerbait kind of got lost in the zeitgeist nationally. And it feels like the fluke is kind of like the spinnerbait or the tube, honestly, where people don't throw that anymore.
The spinnerbait, the spinnerbait has never lost its power here on the Susquehanna River.
Yeah.
The spinnerbait is babe, I want, please, can I
While they're doing that, we got a great Jake Harshman is the best Ned rig fisherman I've ever met.
That's not true.
The
You
Mattress
want to hear something crazy? I throw my Ned rigs on a casting rod too.
That's not crazy at all. I have a BFS setup specifically.
I don't do BFS. BFS is for it's.
What's gayer to you, a ferry?
I didn't say that. I didn't say that. I have a business to
going.
protect. I have a business to protect. I can't go offending all of the acronyms.
Are you talking about the LGBT community or like just what are you talking about?
And the pluses, yes. Like I don't know who. I don't want to. Here's what I don't want to offend anybody. I just want to take them fishing. You can like whatever you want to like. You can do whatever you want to do. I just want to take you fishing. That's it.
Minus the ferry water and Ned rig or BFS.
We can talk about it. We can talk about it.
Lance says, you suggest a specific color for your fluke?
I have 3 colors. I have 3 colors that I mess with. It's some white or off-white color. I like a bone color. I'm a big fan of a bone-colored fluke. A bone-colored fluke, you can't find many brands that make it, but I do. There are a couple brands that make the bone-colored fluke. I have some commentary happening over here, talking about bone and then the other one is basically just either a green pumpkin or brown.
No, I was gonna say like brown is bone makes sense for a multitude of reasons, but also just like it is such that color for a moving bait like that where it just has that glow to it, especially when you get the right colored bone. Because I mean, these are 2 bone colors, but one's brighter than the other. Like I really feel like you want it to almost have that glow in the water. That's the good one. Oh, there. Oh, dude, look at that thing. Is that a bull shad?
It's better than a bull shad. This is made by a company here locally. His name is FOM, F-O-M Lures. F-O-M Lures. He lives here in Harrisburg, and he builds swim baits in his basement. And he is probably one of the best airbrush painters I've ever met in my entire life.
That's praise.
I've taken him crawfish and be like, hey, bro, can you paint this? And then he gives me baits back that look like the crawfish that I stole from the fish's mouth and took pictures of. Like he does it exactly identical. Like he's fucking good. Fucking good. I know I have a lot of good friends that paint. Josh Evans, he paints really good. And I have the utmost respect for Josh. I have one guy that I take my repaints to, and that's David from Farm Lures.
Guys, that's high praise. Link in the episode description on the re-upload. I'll put that in there too if you guys want to go check out his stuff. And I'm going to do something else. I'm going to open up the phone lines. We're only going to take 1 good phone call today. You'll win a prize. The phone number is 667-307-8583. If you want to come yell at us, questions. This is the suicide hotline. So for anyone,
dude, that's what you should put on there. You should put that on there one day and just everybody. That's not good. That's not a good idea. That's a terrible idea. Don't do that.
From the guy that's giving me advice on the water confrontations, yeah, that's probably.
Listen, do we want to talk about on the water confrontations? Because I don't know if I have good advice.
I don't know if it's good advice. It's good internet advice. Guys, so interesting.
Lay out the backstory for us, please.
Yeah, so I'll keep the in person's name. I'll keep it out of it. But an individual was on a body of water, luckily without a kid or anything, and he was threatened with a gun. Somebody apparently pulled a gun on him, saying, "You can't go around me." Weren't fishing, apparently just trying to go around him in a creek channel, and the guy pulled a gun on him. My God. And a question I had for Jake, because, if you guys don't know, Jake knows his way around peacekeeping and keeping things cordial up in Pennsylvania. And so I asked Jake, it's like, how do you handle that situation? Just as me, as a cute little Loudoun County boy who's very innocent and doesn't do too many things. I make eye contact, way too much eye contact with homeless people. That's what my wife told me is a problem. But again, I grew up in Loudoun County. We don't have that.
So I have a couple of different answers, and I have a couple of different answers for a couple of different personalities. My most logical and most intelligent advice is, if somebody is crazy enough to fucking pull a gun on you because of something like that on the water, do you want to test fate whether or not they're serious? Do you want to test their mental well-being and having that confrontation? That's my advice. If you want to test fate, if you want to test their mental well-being to see if they really truly are crazy or if they're just trying to pretend like to be their, Billy Badass, then continue with the confrontation. I wouldn't recommend that. That's not my recommendation. My recommendation is to back away, get as much information about the person in the boat as you can, and then call law enforcement and let them handle it. Now, that being said, if you're pulling a gun on somebody, be fucking careful, because there's a lot of people, self included, that always has a gun on them. And I'm not going to give you a chance to warn me that you're going to shoot me if you pull a gun on me. I'm just going to fucking blast you. I'm going to empty the magazine if you pull a gun on me. Whether I hit you or your boat, somewhere there's some holes in some stuff.
It's interesting because a lot of the comments and the people I've shared the message with are like, well, I carry blah, blah, blah. And it's like, this is not Tombstone. This is not how the real world works, where you guys both, drop off your.
It is Virginia. There's certain parts of Virginia that it may still work that way. I've been to those parts of Virginia.
I guess but you've dealt in a reality, and the reality is not like a movie. And I feel like when people talk online, it's like you just line up, you show each other your schlong, and then you duel it out. And it's like, that's not how any of this works. It's like, you're dead.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. And this goes back to my original, most logical, most sensible piece of advice. If this person is mentally deranged enough to pull a gun on you for wanting to go around them while fishing on the water, do you want to chance it that they're just joking? Because I'll be honest with you, I don't want to chance it. I don't want to chance it, right?
You're not helping, Brew Tank.
Shit, dude, it might be a reload scenario too. Like my boat's made out of metal, so I have some places and stuff where I can duck down and take cover, and I do have a little experience shooting around cover. I may or may not know how to shoot. I just my biggest thing is don't chance it. If you get somebody who's mentally fucking deranged enough that they're gonna pull a gun on you because you're trying to go around them on the water, just call the cops. The cops will have no problems dealing with that scenario.
So we have apparently the guy that messaged me. He is on the line.
Let's do this.
Let's see. Lance, are you there?
It's me.
Hey, boss. How you doing?
All right.
So
the way that went, we went to the ramp and we went down through the channel, and the guy was parked on the right side of the channel fishing. So we eased up and was going to ease by him, and he said, go behind me. Well, that's where all the stumps are in Briary. We would have tore the boat up. So we said, the channel's right here. He said, I don't give a F where the channel is. Go behind me. So we eased on through, and he pulled the pistol out. So I acted like I was looking a different way, not to look right at him. We eased by, got out of the way, called the sheriff's department, 911.
It's probably the safer thing to do than going hunting for pirates like Jake would do.
Yeah. I mean, I was master at arms in the Navy. I can shoot. I didn't have a gun on me. So I just figured just ease by. It ain't worth nobody dying on the water.
I strongly suggest against
where people think they own public water or public land.
I strongly urge against, if you don't have a gun, if you do not have a gun, do not fight the person who has the gun.
This is insane life
Yeah.
advice.
Like, but if you keep that
Well,
thing
that's
on you,
why I kind of acted like I kind of looked away, like I wasn't looking at him, and went on by. And then I started calling the sheriff's department, and they immediately sent the game warden out there, and they ended up boarding the boat because I told him he had a pistol, he had a brown holster it was in, and everything. They searched the boat and found it.
yeah, that's good. I mean, honestly, that's really good that
And-
they
and he
intervened
was
and got it
charged.
taken care of.
Yeah, I mean, they were kind of on the phone, what do you want us to do? I was like, well, I don't want to duck bullets trying to catch crappie.
See, I mean, I spent a decade of my life in PG County, Maryland, so I stay strapped or I get clapped. Like that's kind of the mindset that I had living down
Yeah.
there, and I even on the water,
Well, I
man.
guess now if you're fishing bribery, you need a second chance vest.
I mean, look, I'll be out there in a Kevlar, dude. I'll be out there in a Kevlar and a plate carrier with an M4 hanging off my shit, catching smallmouth on fucking top waters.
That's going to be Trey's next inflatable is the one that can.
I need Trey to weld me a gun mount on. I need a turret mount on my shit.
I mean, it's sad that it's like that. Normally, I'm fishing. I got a 14-year-old boy. Normally, he's with me.
Yeah.
And I mean, luckily, it wasn't him. I was with somebody else. But
so
it's just sad that it's getting like that over fishing.
It brings me to an experience that I had. I live in Harrisburg area, and Harrisburg is the inner city, really. I mean, it's not as bad as some places, but me and my son a few years back were walking the sidewalk steps down there along the river in Harrisburg, and there was this homeless guy, and you could tell he was cracked out. He's on some stuff. His pupils were big as shit. And he come up and he's like asking us questions, and like, "Are you guys fishing?" Like, and I'm like, I'm thinking to myself, no, I just walk around with this fucking rod and goddamn hooks hanging from it for no, yes, of course. Well, my answer is like, "Yes, sir, we're fishing. How are you today?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm good. I always catch fish down here on hellgrammites." And I'm like, "Yeah," we don't have any hellgrammites on us today. We're just out here throwing spinnerbaits in topwater. And he goes, "No." Like, he gets angry. He's like, he's like, "You got to throw hellgrammites." And I'm like, "Well, we don't have any." "No." Like, he starts freaking out. Like, "You got to throw hellgrammites." And like, he's balling his fist up and shit. And like, at that moment, I just kind of like raised my shirt a little bit and I showed the pistol handle. And I was like, "Bud," I was like, "you need to walk the fuck away. Like, me and my like 14-year-old son are out here trying to fish. You need to walk away. Like, just go away."
Well, they did get out there pretty quick. They boarded his boat and found it. He got charged. They called me, and they're going to get with me on, I reckon, going to court.
Yeah, you're going to have to go to court.
Which I'm glad. I mean, you got to think, how many times has he done this?
Yeah.
And got away
That's
with
true.
it. Usually when somebody pulls one, they've done it before.
Yeah.
That's true. Lance, no, I really appreciate you calling in. I'm going to shoot you a gift card since you were the first caller of the night. But yeah, dude, please don't get shot.
Yeah. I'm trying my best.
All right, dude. I'll talk to you later. Bye.
All right. See y'all later.
See you, Lance.
Yeah, that's terrifying to have your kid out in the water potentially, or what you ran into, into having those kind of issues. That's wow.
Yeah, I didn't, the dude was getting so animated and so amped up because I wasn't going to throw hellgrammites. Like, he looked like he wanted to fight, and I wasn't going to take that chance. Harrisburg is pretty hood.
Is the hood. Yeah, it's PG. Oh my God. I'm from PG County too. Yeah.
That's why he knows, bro. Mag dump. It's
Yeah.
mag dump. And you got to shoot like this too, like sideways.
And he says totally booking a trip to shoot. What do you mean? Like, to fish?
I mean, listen, if you want to come out and shoot shit on the islands, we'll fucking bring our guns and go shoot shit on the islands and then go catch smallmouth. I don't give a shit. Like, they're state game land islands out here, so we can just shoot shit. We can pretend like we're hunting.
This testosterone thing is interesting where it comes, like, I think somebody in the comment section about throwing lead, was it Josh said, if not always carry a 2 to 4 ounce weight, you're gonna throw it against somebody's boat. But again, it's like same things. Like, you don't know who's packing. And again, it's like the Florida incident that happened where that guide who got prosecuted, rightfully so, jumped on somebody else's boat. I think you've probably seen that viral video of that guy.
Yeah,
doing
but I
that
mean,
thing.
when you say he got prosecuted, let's wait, because there is no judicial system in the United States of fucking America that operates that quickly. He may have been summoned. He may have been given some citations, or he may have been indicted, or he may have had a criminal complaint filed against him, but nothing is adjudicated yet. What I foresee happening, and I say this, I will preface this, I am a veteran myself, right? But this man, I believe, is a veteran. And what I will see happen is that veteran status will be used in a way to circumvent him having to pay the piper for what he did. He'll claim things that, oh, this made me do this or this made me do that. I've seen it happen way too many times. I've seen it happen, and like they even have specific programs for it. Veterans Justice Outreach out there to keep veterans from going to jail for having momentary lapses in judgment. Which I don't necessarily know if this was a momentary thing for that gentleman. It seemed like he may or may not have done that before. But yeah, I would hold off on saying that he was held accountable yet. Let's wait and see what the court says whenever they finally go through the system.
Galmar on Instagram says, depending on the body of water and the state that you're in, if somebody even touches your board, that gives you reason enough to be able to shoot them. I have no idea if that's true. So please
I'm not going to test that one out.
Yeah.
Now, I will Spartan kick someone who tries to get on my boat, but I don't necessarily know if I'm going to fucking shoot them.
That's a fun topic that I think I need to have somebody else on, a lawyer or something like that.
We should do not listen. Let's preface this live with, in no way, shape, or form is Thomas or Jake telling anyone that they should act in self-defense or carry a firearm, especially if you are not licensed or legal to carry a firearm. We don't suggest that you take our advice and use it in any way, shape, or form. We are not experts. We are merely assholes on the internet. Over.
That said, Derek, you've never been arrested in Florida. Okay.
I have not. I get it. I understand Florida. Florida is like, I get it. Florida's Florida. But what I'm saying is I just, I don't have a whole lot of faith in the criminal justice system anymore.
Interesting question here. Why is the Schuylkill River not really talked about? I did not say that correct. That, yes.
Yeah, Schuylkill. So the Schuylkill is, man, it's an interesting river. So I don't know much about it outside of what I've heard. I've never actually fished it. But what I can tell you is that it does have some smallmouth. It does have a decent population of smallmouth. So I can answer this question easily without it being a long-winded answer. The Schuylkill River is not talked about because of the Juniata and Susquehanna being within an hour of it. There's no fucking point whatsoever to go fish the Schuylkill River if the Juniata and Susquehanna are within an hour of it. It's just that simple. That's how amazing the Juniata and Susquehanna both are. But the Schuylkill River is a great river. It's great. It's a good river. It's not the Juniata or the Susquehanna. Like that would be like, oh God, that would be like, living on Lake Fork and fishing a farm pond that has nothing but 4-pounders.
That's actually a really good analogy there. We got Josh on here too. It says the Schuylkill runs through Philly too. Wow, that's good. So that's got some fun people to talk to.
Yeah, they got a good population of flathead catfish over there.
Oh Lord. Well, then there you go. Josh says, I can say the last weekend I lost 6 19+ inch fish. I've never been so ticked off losing that many giants in 2 days on the Shenandoah.
What were you throwing?
What were you throwing? Hooks, everything. I will tell you something Jake bullied me into doing, which has helped a lot, is increasing everything from my 6 gear ratios that were from the boat to 7, 8, 9. My God, having those faster reels in a kayak is important. It really is.
Yeah.
We got a couple more questions here that I just missed. We got the Tattoo Fool on Instagram. Guys, all the people on Instagram, move over to Facebook or YouTube so I can share the questions because StreamYards is stupid like that. What are your top 3 baits to throw in the Susquehanna in early May?
Early May, a fluke. Right now, a fluke. Absolutely a fluke. That's one. A different style fluke is number 2. And number 3 is probably a bigger fluke. So no, I
That
joke.
took me
I kid.
off guard.
So I mean, the fluke is number 1. But you know, condition can exist and say that, you know, the spinner bait is going to start playing heavy, and you know, these fish are going to start eating topwater here pretty soon. If they're not already, there's probably been some topwater fish that have been caught. But you know, they're going to start eating topwater, especially whenever they come out and they're post spawn and they're in that shallow, you know, the shallow, fast water for, you know, that cooler water, that riffle, those riffles, the oxygenated water where they're sitting there and they're recovering. Those fish are going to eat topwater here pretty soon. So the topwater bait that I would choose is probably the evergreen shower blow. Who doesn't like a shower blow?
Yeah, it's one of the best things in America. Yeah, I would definitely think topwater is going to start playing here for all my topwater addicts out there. Glide bait too, guys. I mean, that's going to have its place here for a hot minute before it shuts down.
So here's the thing. Whenever we're talking about baits like that, I hate to make a recommendation for a glide bait or a big swim bait like that because not everybody has the equipment for it.
Mm-hmm.
And I would hate for someone to go out and spend $100 on a glide bait and then try to throw it on the wrong rod and, you know, and break it off or cast it off or something like that. I would hate to give somebody that advice and then they fucking ruin their day because they went and threw off and it doesn't even have to be $100 swim bait. It might be a $50 swim bait, and that's a big deal to them. And I don't want that to happen to them. So I typically won't recommend swim baits like that in terms of you know, best bait to use during a time of the year. I will stay with something simple, something inexpensive. The most expensive I'll get on a bait recommendation is I will stay under that $20 range just because I want it to be realistic for everybody.
We got a couple of interesting things here too with that earlier question from Josh. Jerk bait with a VMC wacky hook, VMC circle hook, 1/0 shaky head Cinco. Then he also goes into some more information. Lost 2 on a jerk bait with a 731 SLX reel. Rest was on spinning setup. I think the spinning setup might be too limp.
I can tell you what happened. Did you see me throw the fucking fluke at the screen?
Yes.
So the first problem was you were throwing a jerk bait. I don't know, dude. Listen, one of the reasons why I don't hardly ever throw jerk baits is because of how much I lose fish on jerk baits. I hate jerk baits, like hard body jerk baits. I think they're stupid. I think they're absolutely stupid. I hate them. You're not going to, like, I might have 2 jerk baits, period.
That is a belief to have. I mean, you're not, and everyone's entitled to be wrong. I think it comes down also to the treble hook, the rod, everything like that. Like, I really enjoy those. Very mature. I really enjoy those Aaron Martin's finesse trebs. If you're gonna have those.
I will say one thing about those treble hooks. I use those on my crankbaits.
Oh God.
On my like lighter crankbaits, dude. Those fucking hooks.
Sticky sharp.
Yeah. And they stay sticky sharp too. Like I'm a big fan of Spro crankbaits. I love the Spro Rock Crawler. I love the Spro MD50. Those are probably 2 of the best crankbaits ever made.
Great colors you can get from them too.
Dude, it doesn't matter. Listen, it doesn't matter. Color's so stupid, dude. I you know how many crankbaits I go and I buy, and like if you go look through my box right now, there's like 6 or 7 rock crawlers that are just painted black with a black Sharpie. I don't pay attention to color.
But again, you say that I'm so torn on color because sometimes I think it really works and sometimes I think it doesn't work. I'm so freaking torn on it.
I don't get hung up on it. Let's not talk about color because everybody's gonna every body of water is different.
That's
right?
true. That's true.
So you could sit here and talk about color, and I could say what's great, and you could go buy it and never fucking catch a fish on it and be like, Jake, yeah, that Jake dude, full of shit, complete asshole. Told me to go buy this $20 fucking crankbait, and it ain't worth a shit. So I don't want to talk about color, but what I will say is that crankbaits, the 2 best crankbaits that I have put in my arsenal in recent years, has been the rock crawler, all variations of it, the MD50, the DD55, they're the DD50. They all whatever. They all do different depths. They're all different weights, but they're all fucking good. The MD50. The Little John MD50 is probably one of the best cold water crankbaits that I've ever used. And all of them get the Aaron Martin finesse treble hooks that are made by, aren't they made by Gamakatsu? Who makes them?
It's Gamakatsu. Aaron Martin's finesse nano treble hooks, I think is what it is. But it's Gamakatsu.
Like a green package.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like a number 3. I go with a number 3 for almost all of my crankbaits.
I can't argue with you because, I use those same hooks. The only thing I'll do sometimes is I'll go with triple grips, depending on the time of year, with my crankbaits. I know, and it's a personal thing because I feel like if I just get one good hook in them, I can't lose them.
My problem with a triple grip with that EWG style hook is it's tipped in, and if they come and they slap at it, you're not going to get that bite. If they come and slap at that round bend, you might get lucky and hook them.
You got to stick it hard if your tip is bent, and with those, you just got to make sure you get.
Are we talking about fucking crankbait fish? Are we talking about fishing? Period.
We're talking about fishing, life, flipping sticks, things like that.
Okay.
I don't know, but you see, right there, I think you just going based on the looks, and because it has got a bent tip, you mentally think like it's not going to catch the fish.
Bent to the left a little bit,
or to the right. It's interesting to me because when because I've heard crews before talk about like, okay, when their mouth is soft, do this. When it's hard, do this. Like to me, it's like if they're gonna jump a lot. When they're jumping a lot, it's really when you want, I think, a triple grip type style hook. Generally speaking, I don't know. Like hooks,
I
to
just
me,
tell
are
them
just
not to jump.
Oh, do tell! Please tell me the secret advice.
Yeah, like they'll jump, and I'm like, don't jump, don't jump, don't jump, and then they typically stop.
I've got Josh here. Josh says, it's true. You want triple grips only for when they are eating it good to keep them pinned. Yeah. I mean, maybe it's just a personal thing. I like to have both. I think both hooks are really important. You should play around with them. You're right. If they're slapping at it, you don't want them triple grips. If they're swiping at it, you want open hooks, regular round bends. Yeah, no, 100%. But play with them because I think there are certain times a year. If you're really anal with it, there are certain times a year you'll get a higher percentage on one versus the other. Let's go see over here. We got another question from Broder Fishing. What do you prefer, 9mm 45 or 38 ACT? I don't know what that means. ACP? Yeah, I don't know what that is.
So is it 380 ACP?
Yes, that's what he wrote.
So I'm a big fan of 9mm, and the reason I'm a big fan of 9mm is because I feel like it's a very easy round to find, buy, and relatively inexpensive to purchase. I also find that it's a very efficient round. I feel like you get not as much arc as you would get with, some of your heavier rounds. And it has a good amount of stopping power. It will stop a large frame man. A large frame man will be stopped by a 9mm.
I would like to again repeat. Neither of us condone any of this advice for solving altercations on the water.
No, he asked simply what kind of round I like. And I think the other part is like, I hate whenever I'm getting into like a compact or a subcompact gun that I'm wearing for concealment, I don't necessarily want to have a big big gun. I don't want a 40. I certainly don't want a 45. I want something that's going to be able to be concealed because I want to surprise you. If you pull a gun on me, I want it to be a surprise that I have one too. So, the 9mm, enough stopping power, and then you still get round round capacity for the magazine. Most of your compacts or subcompacts, you're looking at 8 to 12 rounds that you can still do. Double stacked, you can certainly probably get 12. Single stacked, you can probably get 8. But I prefer the 9mm for sure.
There you go. That is the first time that question has ever been asked and or answered in 3 years on this show. So oh my God. Okay, Lance, 9mm is for wounding to take more men out of the body. Okay. This is taking a turn, guys. I did not have this on my bingo cards today.
You had no idea that this broadcast was going to get put out for like people who like SHOT Show videos and stuff now.
Yeah, and people who want to remove the homeless
You just
population.
opened yourself up to a whole new fucking realm of YouTube.
Oh my God. All right.
Hashtag
out here.
nuts.
That's why you carry a 357 SIG, granted harder to find and more expensive. All right. Well, there you go. What the fuck is going to happen on the water? I talked to Jake House about something that was interesting about this wing dam down in Lower Harrisonburg. What do you think should be done about that dam that's down near Harrisonburg proper? It's created that nice little pool for everyone to be able to
Hold the fuck on. Hold on. Well, let's reverse. It's Jake Hausman.
Isn't that what I said?
No, you said Jake House. It's Jake Hausman. He's a weird little ginger dude that fishes the river. And he's talking about the Lowhead Dam that's in Harrisburg.
What did I
not
say?
Harrison fucking Burg.
Oh,
in Virginia.
that's Virginia. Whoops. That's the wrong one.
Harrisburg.
That makes way more sense. So
It's just south of the Julietta River, okay?
No, the Juniata. No more mind games. I have a nice sticky note here on the laptop, and it's hooked on phonics thing in big crayon saying Juniata.
So what do I think should happen with it? I think that Darwin Awards should be given out to people who don't inspect the water before they go on it. I think the people that don't follow the law as the boater law, like the book that says that fucking Pennsylvania publishes every year that says you cannot go within 100 feet downstream or 200 feet upstream of a Lowhead Dam. I think that people who violate that should be fucking prosecuted because even though they're dumb as shit for doing it, they're putting a firefighter's life at risk whenever they fuck up and they have to come save them. So if you're willing to put somebody else's life at risk to save your dumb ass from doing some dumb shit, you should be prosecuted for it. I think if you just started prosecuting people and holding people accountable, that dam is perfectly okay where it's at. That dam has been there for a very, very long time. And I get it. It's killed, a number of people. But, more often than not, those scenarios were preventable.
Mm-hmm.
The most recent one, a couple years ago, I was directly involved with. I launched at City Island, and as I launched, two guys came down with their boat. They had Maryland tags. I think it was Maryland tags. And they launched their boat right behind me. And the gentleman, as I was parking, asked me as he comes up, he's like, "Is there anything down here we should know about?" And I'm like, "Have you never been here before?" And they're like, "Well, we fished here once a long time ago." I'm like, "Okay." I was like, "Well, there's a Lowhead Dam just downstream from here. I wouldn't go past the train bridge," is what I told them. He's like, "Oh, that's good to know. Good to know." It wasn't even 30 fucking minutes later that Harrisburg Fire and Rescue launched their river rescue boat and ran the chute over along the east side of the river, which is about 7 to 8 feet wide, and it's a huge rush of water coming down and then spits out to the downriver. It spits out to the right. And if you go straight, you're going to run into a bunch of boulder rock and some chunk rock from some steps that have fallen apart. And if you don't go the right amount right, you're going to run into some more boulder rock. And once you go the right amount right, you have to bank left or you're going to hit the bridge pier. Like, it's a sketchy spot to run. But Harrisburg River Rescue had to run it to get down there to save their lives, those people's lives. And one of them didn't make it. One of them died. But they knew about it. They knew about it. I told them about it. And they still went out and pushed off, had motor problems, didn't throw out an anchor, didn't do anything to prevent it from happening. Or maybe they didn't have the equipment to have it from happening, but those were their mistakes. So what I think should happen is I think they should leave it alone. I think they should start prosecuting people for it. And if unfortunately they die, then prosecute their families. Make it a penalty to do dumb shit. If you do dumb shit, you win dumb prizes.
Yeah, and I think the dumb prize is, you're no longer this mortal coil. That's the prize. Like, and you can kind of leave it at that too. I don't know. It's interesting. Like, I mean, buoys, I guess you could say there.
The buoys move, dude. The buoys get moved by shit. Every high water event, the buoys will get moved.
I tried.
Yeah, no. So right now, it's being, there's a lawsuit filed right now against the city of Harrisburg because they didn't put out buoys to warn these people. But the boat ramp has a fucking sign on it that says Lowhead Dam this way.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what does the city have to do to keep people from doing dumb shit? And here, let me also say this. If somebody's listening that was involved in that incident, whether the survivor or maybe the family members of the person that deceased, I'm incredibly sorry that you were involved in that scenario. But you should have done better. You should have done your research, and you should have made sure that you were following the law. I'm sorry that it happened, but
is tournament wise, do they have it to where are you allowed to fish the tail race version of that thing for most tournaments?
MAKBF has set it up where you can't go past the bridge piers. All of the bridge piers are are outside of 100 feet downstream. So if you go past the bridge piers on any part of it across the river in an MAKBF tournament, you were illegal. Not every single tournament entity has used that same rule, but MAKBF is a leader in this region in terms of kayak fishing tournaments. And when we have a tournament there, that's our boundary. If someone else chooses not to follow it, that person can be DQ'd. Because here's the thing. There's giant fish that live up there of all types. There's striper. There's big catfish. There's huge walleye. There's huge smallmouth. There's big muskie. Every fish lives there. I caught a 28.5-inch walleye on topwater there last year. It's crazy.
It is interesting with all these dams, like how it does create unique fishing opportunities in each section. And again, I think I'd have to have a river keeper on to talk about the environmental impacts, blah, blah, blah.
They're going to disagree with me. They're going to say, blow it up and put something else in there. And I'm going to disagree with them and say, I love what you do for the river, but I also don't think that there's a reason to change it until nature changes it. There's no reason to go out there and affect the way that everything. If you go out and change it right now, you're affecting every single fish that lives above it and how they've adapted over the years. Just let them be. There's enough things working negatively against these fish. Let them the hell be. If something changes one day and that dam changes or something takes it out, okay, yeah, then let's fix it. But until then, let's just hold people accountable for being dumb.
Guys, this has been a heck of a show so far. We're talking about shooting homeless people.
No, we're not. No, we're fucking not. That never once came up.
And the amount of people that are doing gun talk in the chat is absolutely insane. 40 S&W is superior over the 9mm. I'll die on that hill. I own both. Ballistically 9 won't hold a cradle to it. Same with the 10 mil. Let's see. Got Josh. I can't wait to get back on the river. This is all like insane. For best between fishing and bullet sizes. Can't wait to get back out on the river for smallies. All of ours are starting to spawn, so we tend to not do sections. We float for weeks. Stephen says a bit of a different show tonight, I guess.
Jacakis? Is that his name? Jacakis? That is the most badass fucking last name I've ever seen in my life.
That really
Steven
is.
Jacakis.
Guys, as always, Monday Night Live is not as child friendly. I will just always let you know that. We'll be back to our regular scheduled stuff later on. We do have a phone call finally. This will be the last phone call of the night. It is a 58541 number. Let's get this up. Caller, if you can hear me, you're on the show.
Hey, Thomas, what's up? It's Josh Torres here.
Hey!
I figured I'd call and make the show interesting tonight. You got my message, right, on Facebook?
I did. Did you want to go over it again? More of a cliff note from the paper?
Yeah,
because
so I can't, that's some crazy stuff you guys are talking about. I can't talk about guns or anything here. Me and my buddy Danny were fishing out on the Potomac this weekend, and we're fishing Occoquan Bay and Belmont Bay, and then we started to make our way in the river. He blew a no-wake zone. Not a smart move. But anyhow, the cops pulled us over, and the Virginia police officer, Fairfax County Police, told us that we needed a Virginia fishing license to fish all tributaries on the Virginia side, which was news to me. So I was kind of like beside myself.
That's true.
And I'm like,
that's true. They all have a certain point.
Yeah. So he told us the certain point for that area was Occoquan River. He said Belmont Bay, but I was not aware of anything about that. And I went home and looked it up, and it states that it says below the 301 bridge, you are required to have one of the following: Potomac River Fisheries sport fishing license, or Virginia Saltwater Recreational License, or Maryland Bay Tidal Sport Fishing License. And then it said Potomac River Fisheries sport fishing licenses are also valid in all Maryland tidal waters and all Virginia tidal salt waters and all Virginia tidal freshwater tributaries of the Potomac River downstream of points designated by Virginia Department of Game and Inland Fisheries. So I'm just trying to clear this up, because I thought, to me, that says that if you have one of those licenses, you're good for all parts of the river. So
so I'll say first off, it is completely effed 3 ways to Sunday how this river is shared between like 17 different federal organizations. You have the Potomac River Association that owns Dead Nuts Middle. Then you have Maryland. It's that part, I will agree, it's crazy. But Jake is right. Like again, the laws are so confusing. This is something that I get frustrated with on the black bass board. They don't make things easy to read. They don't. And people get in trouble with it. It's like, I think you mentioned in your message that they're saying that you need to have a boater safety course to run too.
Yeah, a boater safety course, which was, I know you do for all the bass or events now, because they made that a thing this year. If you're going to fish the, they're calling them regional, the thing you fish to qualify for the nation event, for the Bass Nation Championship, you have to have a safety course, and Maryland Bass requires it because we're fishing as a team format this year. So I had that with me, but I wasn't aware that that's a requirement out on the water now for everybody, because he asked for it.
Yeah, that's...
What... That number 3, all Virginia tidal freshwater tributaries of the Potomac downstream of points designated by the Virginia Department of, so it's basically up to their choosing from where that line is drawn, right? Am I understanding that right?
Basically, yeah. They get to pick the line to an extent. But the
Gotcha.
the BS answer is just to get both licenses, get a Maryland and Virginia, and you're going to be good to go.
I
And
have a
always
better
do
answer.
because I
Oh God.
figure it's,
I have a better answer.
it's annoying.
Go.
We fish these tournaments and we these rivers all the time. You think you're good with the tidal water, which I thought you should be, but apparently that's not the case.
Jake, what's your answer?
F the police.
Oh.
Yeah. No, you just go do whatever you want.
We're all out there just trying to have it. That was really cool. I know he's doing his job. He's a good guy. He was just, and my buddy shouldn't have blown that no wake zone, so shame on him. But
well, yeah. Here's one good rule of thumb. If you're riding dirty, right? And I'm gonna go back to my law enforcement roots here. If you're riding dirty, don't run a stop sign. Don't have a burnt out tail light.
Yeah, it was like he temporarily went up on pad just like to kind of cruise up over there, but it was just like, so he's like, he told us no propulsion whatsoever. He's like, you're just. I'm like, what? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, look, man, I look at it like this, like, one of the easiest arrests to make is somebody who did a traffic violation, and then you come up to their car and they got weed or they're drunk, right? Like, if you're not following the law and you break a law, like, you're asking for trouble. But I mean, I don't know. I think the whole licensing aspect of the states that share water, they really need to work better together than they do.
They do. That's the main thing. That's what I'm trying to get at.
No,
Like,
dude, yeah, it's a shit show.
But
yeah,
it's ridiculous.
We got hold on
Anyhow,
right here.
thank you.
Josh, if you want to listen to this, so we got Army Outdoors 88N. He says a lot of states require boater safety cards. I've had to do it in every state I have been stationed: Kentucky, Washington, California. I just completed the Virginia one ahead going to the Pentagon. I completely agree with what everyone is saying here. I have a Sauger P3024. I don't know.
Sig Sauer.
Okay.
Sig fucking Sauer, Thomas.
Sig Sauer. It sounds like a drink a blonde would order at a bar.
Well,
honestly.
it will kill you. So they're probably equal. The blonde that orders that drink and the gun will probably kill you the same time.
Oh shit. Dude, thanks for calling in. I will I just messaged Steve Chaconis about this as well.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate
Thomas,
it.
I have an idea. Why don't you do a show or do a video where you get someone from Virginia and someone from Maryland come on and talk about the licensing requirements for the major fisheries down there, the Potomac and any other border water, whether it's the Conowingo or the Deep Creek, Yaak River Lake. Like, talk about the border waters and let people know what they need. And that way, when someone searches it and they're like, oh, what do I need for X, Y, and Z? And then it's your dumb face that shows up and they can watch your video.
But you hit the nail on the head, though. If you get to the point that they're going to board you, so to speak, they can find something wrong to tell you. Like,
dude, there is not a single boater in the history of boating that doesn't have something fucked up about their shit.
Yeah.
Like, it's inevitable. Like, they make the laws so difficult and so obscure in some instances that it's really just, it's hard to follow it all. The best thing you can do is just be honest and try to follow the law as best as you can.
How much of a nightmare was it to do the guiding stuff? Did you have to do like a tidal water test and all that other stuff?
No, because the area that I'm guiding on is not intercoastal and it's not shared by multiple states. All I needed was boater safety. I didn't need a captain's license. All I needed was boater safety, and I needed insurance of a certain level, and I had to buy the Pennsylvania guide license. Once I did all that stuff, I was okay legally for the state of Pennsylvania, and I have zero desire to guide below the Conowingo, or not below the Conowingo, but below Safe Harbor. I have zero desire to go down there and guide. I don't know the water enough. It's an hour and 20-minute drive. If I'm going to drive an hour and 20 minutes, I'm going to drive north, not south. So as far as that goes, I don't know if I'll ever go and get a guide license just because I don't need it unless they make it mandatory one day.
Hopefully they don't. That's just one more expense that you'd have to put up with. And I know it's easy for me to just tell people like Josh, just to like get a license for like every place. But I mean, I don't know. That's what I do. I have a West Virginia, North Carolina, Virginia, Maryland license. And
you got a West Virginia license?
I have a West Virginia license because I
didn't even know they sold those.
They do. That it's either that or you start hearing the banjos play, so you might as well get the license.
That's some of the best fishing when you hear the banjos.
Well, there's other things that happen when the banjos start playing.
The hills have eyes, though.
By the way, throwable flotation device needs to be in a visible access area in your boat, and don't have a zip tie on your fire extinguishers. Yeah.
True. Truth.
The throwable thing is kind of dumb. It is really interesting when you get, if you do buy a nice boat and it's like, where in the heck are you supposed to put this thing so where if you're driving at 80 miles an hour, it doesn't get thrown away. So it has to be visible, but then, yeah, anyway, that is weird.
So I put my throwable it's one of the circular throwables, and I have it basically on under the seat, like it's between the seat post and the boat. So it's right underneath the seat, on the back. And if, somebody goes overboard, I just go grab it, pop the seat off, throw it in. Catch. Yeah. See, he's been to West Virginia.
He's been to West Virginia.
Yeah, hey there, boy. You sure do got a pretty beard on you down there. I see it there.
They made me dock my boat to get a fire extinguisher on my boat. It's all electric, no gas tank. I mean, things can still actually explode. Let's see. In Kentucky, your throwable must have a minimum of a 25-foot. Yeah, dude. There's some. I mean, that's like California Army outdoors. Like, I mean, isn't it in some places you have to dump the water in your boat into like a bag because they don't want it to like just flow into like rivers and shit. Like it's some of these states are absolutely just stupid. And then Pennsylvania is going to go there first. I'm not going to. They're complete communist.
We're the California of the East.
You guys are a nightmare. I can't believe they still let you guys fish and do guided trips and stuff. It's so bad.
Either. Honestly, like I think if Tom Wolf would have known whenever he was last governor, if he would have known that we were still fishing, he probably would have outlawed it.
Josh, when they should end up like a kayak, they only need to have a whistle. So I got arrested with an inflatable kayak. We were swimming down the Shenandoah River when we were 18 and 17, and we got in trouble because we didn't wear a life preserver. You need to wear a PDF if you are floating next to a PDF.
You have to wear an Adobe file.
So that is it. That's okay. Whoops, you're correct. That's wrong. Yes. We bought Walmart inflatable, and they look like a canoe kayak thing. If it was in the shape of a donut, we wouldn't have to wear a life preserver. But because it was in the shape of a kayak, and even though we weren't inside of it, we had to have a life preserver, and they fined us both $200. The dumbest thing ever.
That's stupid.
Yeah, PDF file. Yeah, don't do that. Sorry, guys. My brain's hurting. Pennsylvania is like the place I can't say because YouTube will demonetize if I say that word real quick.
I don't even know if you can show it.
That ship sailed. Yes, they quarantine your boat in California. That's freaking dumb. It's only slightly better than New Jersey. New Jersey is, that's basically the Detroit of the East Coast. I think, guys, I got through all the chats. It's amazing. My God, this is the most gun talk I've ever had in the history of a show. Oh, good Lord. Jake, what do you got coming up? If people want to go get a guided trip with you, shoot people, what do they do?
Well, we're not shooting people. If at all possible, we're not going to shoot nobody. So let me run through the gamut. Okay. First and foremost, MAKBF, Potomac River, this coming weekend. It's going to be a big deal. Following that, we got the Delaware ponds, and then the upper Potomac at the end of June, or I'm sorry, at the end of May. So those are our big events getting ready to come up. Myself. So I got the jet boat. I'm doing the guiding. I could be reached at Jake@chocolatetownriverguide.com or on any of my social medias all you have to do is look at Chocolate Town River Guide or search Jake Harshman, and it'll bring up my ugly mug, and I'll probably be making some sexual innuendo while holding a fish. And that's how you can reach me. You can reach me on, in the DMs. You can reach me in the email. You can, if you go to my website, chocolatetownriverguide.com, my contact information is there as well. I have limited availability for the month of May and June and July because I'm on night shift. So I will only have about 8 days per month for those 3 months that I will be available to guide. So if you want to book a trip for the summer, you're going to want to get a hold of me fairly soon. Also, there will be a booking deposit for those because those will consist of early morning trips. And, I don't want to get stuck being there at 4:30 in the morning waiting for you and then you sleeping in till 9 and saying, oh, I forgot. So, sorry, but I've already foreseen that happening. So if you book a trip, it will require a booking deposit for the summer. That being said, the river is incredibly special. This river is fantastic. If you've never experienced it, please let me help you experience it because it is a pretty amazing place. And last but not least, I will say, as I always do, Trey Leach, Innovative Sportsman. He is my welder. He's my kayak builder. He's my rigger. He is my best friend. He is one of the best human beings and nicest persons you'll ever meet in your entire life. Please seek him out for anything that you need, kayak fishing or welding related, even for boats. If you ripped a hole in the bottom of your boat, contact him. He'll probably be able to fix it. Temple Fork Outfitters, they've outfitted my entire boat this year with rods. Anytime you get on my boat, you don't have to bring anything. Temple Fork Outfitters has rigged the boat for all my guiding needs. And Wind Rider Apparel and Lakewood Outdoors, they sell tackle. And dude, check this out. Check these threads out, bro.
Dude, that's a sick shirt.
Right? So, Wildwear America, Manda from Wildwear America, she makes jerseys, and she probably makes some of the most comfortable clothing I've ever worn on my body. Manda is fantastic. Wildwear America is her company. So, all those shameless plugs later. Fucking thank you for having me come on, dude. It's been a blast.
You're very welcome. This is a great last question. How much is one of your special hunting trips?
Ooh.
You guys
are we hunting homeless people? I don't understand what we're hunting. So here's what I will tell you. We can go illegally kill geese because I hate geese. And so does Jeff Little. If we kill geese, Jeff will actually pay us per head of goose.
Really? I didn't know Jeff could hate.
I'm willing to bet that if I posed it to him, he would probably put a bounty on their heads. Yes, for sure. But no, all joking aside, I don't do any hunting trips. However, I have toyed with the idea that if there are some duck hunters that want to reserve an island for the state game lands to go out and hunt duck in the fall or waterfowl in the fall, I have toyed with the idea of being a water taxi of some sort. So.
Well, you have multiple people in the comment section that are definitely in if you branch off into
into hunting homeless people. I don't think the purge has happened yet. I don't think we're allowed to do this. We do not recommend the hunting of the homeless. It's not okay. This video has already been fucking demonetized.
It really has.
There is no chance. Don't even mark this one as monetized. It's just not possible.
Oh my God.
Look, this man, it's a blast to come on here. I hope that I'm as beneficial for you as you are for me. Because.
We're gonna see on the re-upload how YouTube takes this one.
you listen. Even if it's a shit upload and you can't use it, there's a lot of one-liners you can pull off of this and probably get some good content. I will say that I got a plan. I got an idea coming up, and anybody that's made it this far, that's listened this far, will get to know what it is. So I have a great idea for a short. the next time I catch a fish and lose a fish, you're going to hear me say something that's absolutely hysterical. If I catch a fish and lose a fish and I can get the slow-mo of the bait popping out of its mouth, you're going to hear the words come out of my mouth, and it's going to be, she had it in her mouth and the kids walked in.
That should be your tagline. You should see how many of those innuendos you can put in each video without getting in trouble.
Oh, dude, it's going to be so funny because some of the shit that I've said, like on my recent smallmouth video, like what did I say about if she ain't 280, she ain't a lady.
I like to take the big girls to the dance. That'd be also a good one with whatever big fish you catch.
Yeah,
Big
I
girl
literally said on social media that if she ain't 280, she ain't a lady.
Well, I will, Derek. I will see how the children and the mothers agree with this. We like to balance it. We like to balance it all out. We got Josh. What's the name of the welder? Trey Leach, Innovative Sportsman.
Yeah, Innovative Sportsman, or it might be easier for you to look up SDL Services. He's in Mount Airy, Maryland.
Yeah, I'm ending on that one. Always chasing the fat girls. Absolutely,
Yes.
Never stop. Especially the brown ones. The brown ones are the best.
Brown fat girls.
Smallmouth. Jake, yeah, thank you so much for coming on. Also, guys, we're gonna try to do a live stream from the Susquehanna River at some point in May when he gets reverted to days or whatever. Whenever Jake is available.
Nice.
He's a busy man. We're going to do a live stream. And I will make sure we promote that once we figure out the date and time to get all that squared away. Go check that out, guys. And yeah, we will see you guys tomorrow on Fishing the DMV. Bye. You're listening to Fishing the DMV with your host, Thomas Ahrens. Fishing the DMV.